Hello everyone, welcome to a 4v4 battle on a custom map called Altdorf Adventures, which makes it seem like it's a little tabletop set in the middle of a city, which I think is pretty cool, but it is not meant for a 4v4 size battle. For me, we have 3 dwarves on this side and a human, known as the Empire. There's a lot of units on the screen. I'm not going to go everybody. We got some flagellants. We got Karl Franz, I think. Yeah, we got Karl Franz. I have 2 cannons. There are 2 Luminarchs on the field. We have Rangers, Quarrelers, a bunch of Dwarven Warriors. I'm being led by Belegar. We also have Thorgrim and a Rune Lord. I'm sorry, Rune Lord, 2 Runesmiths, and then Ungrim. No, not Ungrim. Another Rune Lord. I thought we had Ungrim. I lied. Multiple more Runesmiths over there. There's just so much shit. The enemy players have a vampire account that took mostly Vargulfs, which is in a pack over here. They also brought a Terrorgeist that are being led by the Red Duke. There is an Imperial player who brought the Sunmaker, multiple mortars, like just a hell load of mortars. The Chaos player here has some Chaos Marauders, some Chosen mixed in. They are being led by a generic Chaos Lord who I think is like right here. Yeah, there's also some Blood Knights. We got some Flagellants, Swordsmen, Flying Dudes, Karl Franz, 2 of them over here. There's just so much shit. It's 4v4. There's also 2 Hell Cannons over here. So we have 2 Hell Cannons, Sunmaker, multiple mortar teams, Gunners, Demigryph Knights, so much stuff on a very small map. And so the Sunmaker actually opens up on this main column of dwarves that are marching up the center of the field because there's really not that many other places to march up. So we're going to get hit a lot by Hell Cannons, Mortars, and the Sunmaker, just making our approach to the enemy army, who is just going to tank up right here, and they're going to tank up right here. Meanwhile, the Vampire Count player is going to march their horde of Vargulfs around, and they're going to try and take out this unit. They're going to try to take out my cannons, and then they're going to go over here and try to take out this Grudge Thrower. I'm going to stick my 3 Quarrelers and a Dragonback Slayers onto this Vargulf party. My allies are going to send some forces over there as well to try and stop them. Meanwhile, the main Dwarf army is going to move up here with the Imperial player. I'm going to be marching up the center with Belegar, and you're going to see that most of my Dwarven Warriors have just taken a hell of a beating. I do have a Hammer, I have a Peak Gate Guard, I have the Grumbling Guard. Those are going to be my kind of units that stand out. I have no other heroes, though. It's just going to be Belegar. No Runesmiths or anything. And we're just going to kind of watch this in a cinematic view. Pardon if it's a little choppy. It is a 4v4. There are a ton of units on the screen. We have some miners here from my allied dwarf player. And so my dwarves, the ones that made it to this line against these swordsmen, there's going to be Chosen mixed in here. There's going to be Demigryph Knights thrown in here. They're going to be fighting through most of this battle, being led by Belegar, going right up the middle. Meanwhile, the Vargulfs are on our backfield, just terrorizing everything. They're being chased by Demigryph Knights, Rangers with great weapons. I'm going to be focusing my Quarrelers on them as they're going into this Dwarven pocket of Dwarf Warriors. The Imperial player on our side is just going to be marching up the right here and going to be plowing into these Halberdiers who are protecting a group of I'm sorry, they had a steam tank. I didn't even know they had a steam tank. But they're protecting the steam tank and a group of crossbowmen. Meanwhile, you can see how many forces I have left in the middle. They have just been torn to pieces by the multiple mortars, Sunmaker, and Hell Cannons. Now we have a Karl Franz down in here. I'm going to be throwing Belegar against him along with our Peak Gate Guard, and I think our Grumbling Guard are going to be trying to surround him. And again, I'm sorry for all the choppiness. It's just it's a 4v4 and there's a lot of units. I'm currently trying to move Belegar into melee range against Karl Franz. But yeah, you can see I don't have many forces left, and there are hordes and hordes of enemy forces that we're going to have to chew through to make it to the squishy cannons and stuff behind. Currently, the 1 cannon I have left operational, because the second one was taken out by the Vargulfs, is aiming at the enemy's Hell Cannons. I'm trying to take that out, because that is a huge target. Meanwhile, over here, we have some Blood Knights charging up the right side of the field, and the graphics are just... like the shadows are going crazy, probably because it's a custom map. But they're going to be trying to charge into these 2 Luminarchs of Hysh, who are being protected by the Dwarf Warriors, who are still trying to fight off this massive pack of Vargulfs. I'm trying to do what I can with our Quarrelers, and my Dragonback Slayers have just been following this pack of Vargulfs through this entire game so far. And so we're just slowly whittling them down, including this Terrorgeist. The shadows are freaking the hell out on this map, man. You know what? Hold on. I had to turn everything off to high instead of ultra because of just how many units were on the screen. Let me turn off shadows. Just totally, because they are messing up on this map. There we go. Oh my god, so many on screen. So right now the Terror guys is going to be trying to take out the remaining corridors that I have. And we're going to get shot in the back by a Luminarch of Fish, getting hit by Hell Cannon still. The Sunmaker, the enemy Sunmaker, is currently trying to target my corridors. That's why it is moving right now and not firing. And oh my god, this just, it's so laggy. Holy shit. Let me see if I can have to lower the quality a little bit more. Let's go to like medium, I guess. I can run like 2v2s on Ultra pretty easily, but man, these 44s. That doesn't really take care of anything. Okay, well. No cinematic view for us then, because this is a choppy mess. Let's just pull out, so you can at least see what's happening in the battle. So the Empire player, backed up by a couple of the Dwarf units, are still pushing in on the right side. They're shooting through the Halberdiers, and they're going to try and get to these crossbows who've been lined up to try and destroy all the flagellants over there. I am still dealing with the hordes of swordsmen. We have Chosen mixed in here with flagellants, Chaos Marauders, Demigryph Knights. I'm going to be assigning the one cannon I have to fight the Demigryph Knight here very soon. I am probably not going to do another 4v4 again, because this is just a mess. Vargolf pack is still roaming free, taking out these two Luminarch of Hishes. That's the second one, I think, that's taking out. It seems like every single unit in the game has to route over here to this side of the battlefield. Again, my cannon is still operational, at least one of them are, and they're currently be firing into either the Vargolfs. Yeah, it looks like they're firing into the Vargolfs, but they will be firing into the Demigryph Knights soon. And my dwarves are still holding on, but you can see, since I still have Grumbling Guard mixed in here, all of my dwarves are fighting fresh. By everything that we're fighting against is slowly being whittled down to exhausted, which means their stats are taking a heavy loss. So the longer this fight is happening, the better off my dwarves are. I was kind of surprised they're still holding on at this point, being led by Belegar. He does have 2 buffs that he can cast. You can see Mighty Oathstone is currently on right now. Sunmaker is now positioned to start firing on my corridors once again. Meanwhile, on the right flank, the Flagellant army is slowly tearing through the Halberdiers. They're going to be getting into the Squishy Crossbowmen. Both Karl Franz of the enemies have taken a lot of damage, I believe, from Luminarch of Hishes and other forms of ranged units. I'm not entirely sure. Good God. It's crazy how choppy this is. Not much changes with my dwarves back there. Holy shit. Choppy. Pack of Vargolfs is now down to only 2. It used to be like 9 of them. So all the Demigryph Knights, Dragonback Slayers, Coroller Fire, Ranger Fire with great weapons have finally whittled them down to nothing except for 1 more Vargolf left. But these Vargolf pack have just taken out most of our artillery, and they took out a lot of our Corollers, a lot of Dwarf Warriors. Meanwhile, over here we have some more Dwarf Warriors and 2 Runesmiths, which I could have really used up in the front lines. You know, they're holding off a Skeleton Warrior and a Skeleton Spearman. So that's cool. That's cool. 2 Runesmiths to fight off some skeletons. But they did help against the Vargolfs, though. Meanwhile, on the front line, my units are still holding, being led by Belegar, who's fighting an entire group of Chosen with halberds. Next, 2 groups of Chosen with halberds, backed up by only a little bit left of the Grumbling Guard. Dwarf Warriors. Lag is starting to come down to a reasonable amount now that the units have mostly been killed off. Yeah, my line of dwarves is very thin at this point, but we are being supported by my cannon still back there who's shooting at these Demigryph Knights. We have Dwarf Warriors, Grumbling Guard fighting these Chosen. Look at all of these corpses. Holy crap. And Belegar and his dwarves just holding up the middle. Now my Dragonback Slayers are done killing the Vargolfs, so they're over here trying to do damage to the Demigryph Knights. And the Chosen with halberds are actually slowly falling to Belegar and the few dwarves he has left. Meanwhile, on the right side, the Flagellant army has actually broken through the enemy Imperial player and is currently going into the crossbowmen, and they are just getting a mass rout over here. And now the sound is messing up because it's a team game. Taking a look, you can see the enemy mortars and hell cannons have managed to actually use most of their ammunition, so they have just been back here firing all day, every day. But even though they have had a massive superiority with artillery doing a bunch of damage, my allies are still pushing through the right side. You can see some iron breakers over here mixed in with the flagellants. Our allied Rune Lord just did bite the dust against this Celestial Wizard, I guess. Meanwhile, in the middle, I'm about to suffer a spell from the Celestial Wizard, but the dwarves are still fighting. They have, like, nothing. Look at these health bars. They have nothing left, but they are still fighting, trying to support their leader, Belegar Ironhammer, against these Chosen. The swordsmen have mostly routed at this point. Chaos Marauders are now pouring in as reinforcements, so I'm going to be assigning my cannon. And the one corollary group that we have, which is coming up, is going to be firing into these Chaos Marauders who are basically fresh, because they have just been holding the pass over here, but they have now been withdrawn from this pass, just as my allies, Dwarven Warriors, and the Runesmiths are making it up our left side like this, because they destroyed those Skeleton Warriors, so now they're coming in from this side. And Belegar and like the 20 dwarves are still alive, still barely holding against the Chosen. And look, just look at all these, like, you can't even tell what's happening because all of these corpses. So many people have died here. So many people. But still Belegar and his precious dwarves fight on. We lost another allied hero over here. Is it probably Carl? No, to the Celestial Wizard. Jesus. That was our friendly Carl. We still have a couple Chaos Marauders to break through. We still have a Chaos Lord back here that's dealing with some Demigryph Knights. But we do have the reinforcements coming in from our other Dwarf player over here with some relatively fresh units, including the Dwarf Lord, the Runesmith. This is all still basically fresh, so they're finally coming into the fight. Belegar is now below 50%. Most of his dwarves are dead, but he is still fighting on. The one group of Corlers we have left, the others have been destroyed by Vargulfs and artillery. They are gone. Got some Iron Drakes nearby, killing what's left of the Flagellants. You can't even really see them because they are buried in corpses. And yeah, so if you thought that my dwarf army was going to break in the middle, you're not alone. I thought that for like the past 10 minutes of this battle, but they actually hold on to the bitter end and tank out everything here. They tank it all. Belegar fucking tanks 2 Chosen with halberds by himself practically because he was buried in the middle of them for so long. And now you see these Chaos Marauders are just roasting. Belegar doesn't care. All their forces are now basically in a mass rout. There are only a couple Marauders left. The Chaos Sword, I think, is dead or routing at this point. Oh no, he's over here dealing with the Luminarch. But yeah, Belegar's forces are actually going to live through all this. Well, I mean, some of them do. And now we finally have a master out from the enemy team. But just look at all these corpses. It looked pretty grim from the beginning, right? All those hell cannons, the Sunmaker with all of its missiles just hold, because there's no room to maneuver. We're a massive pack of dwarves that were just getting torn to shreds by artillery, and they had like 5 mortars back here also. Now mortars are not really designed to kill dwarves, but still, it's so tightly packed and so many mortars at the same time, it's going to tear you to pieces. And it did. I had like seriously like 20 dwarves left in total, spread out amongst all my groups, but Belegar led them to victory. Well, not single-handedly led them to victory, but maintained the middle. We maintained and held the middle to the bitter end until our reinforcements came, and we eventually win this game. I thought for sure this was going to be a loss. The Vargulfs in the backfield just destroying all of our artillery, a lot of our quarrelers. They were just such a pain in the ass. And then in the front, you know, we had all this artillery pounding on us from the front. I couldn't pierce their lines because they just had hordes and hordes of enemies here. So it was just this very long, drawn-out fight, but we eventually somehow did it. The 2 allies, the Dwarven Ironbreakers and the Flagellants breaking in on the right side, kind of sealed the deal because they got into all the crossbows and riflemen that were back in here. And when those started falling, just the sheer amount of enemy numbers that were dying led to this massive chain rout. And yeah, it was a very... Just look at all those. Look at all that. Look how laggy this is still, you know... Like, the FPS is probably like a 20 or something just because of all the bodies on the field. All these corpses. Just everywhere you look. Everywhere you look. One of the bloodiest battles I have ever done. And one of the choppiest battles I've ever done. I think it took over a half hour to complete this battle. Because it was just so choppy, so laggy. But it was cool. I can't show you the kills from everybody, but Belegar netted almost 200. Grumbling Guard is such an amazing unit. As long as there is one alive, everything around it is going to get its vigor back, and that was one of the crucial elements, I think, in this battle for me. Everyone around us was exhausted, but the dwarves were still fighting at full strength because the Grumbling Guard, they're so good. Hammer's got 165 kills. My Peak Gate Guard got crushed by Karl Franz, and I don't even know what else. Hell Cannons, I think. So they weren't even a part of the battle. So like they got wiped out so early, which was troubling because I was relying on them to basically get hundreds and hundreds of kills. Cannon did okay. Let's see, for 3 Energy Fiend, all the Vargals were a pain in the ass. They didn't get an impressive amount of kills, but they did shut down a lot of artillery, Illuminarch of Hish, and some other stuff. So I hope you enjoyed the battle. I'm not really going to do a cinematic view here because it's just going to be a laggy, choppy mess for 20 minutes. And it's probably not going to be that enjoyable to watch. I try to get some cinematic views in this first pass, but I still wanted to show you the battle because, one, Altdorf Adventures I think is a really cool map. I would not suggest playing 4v4 on that map. Maybe a max 2v2. And it was still like a very bloody battle, so I just wanted to show it. Apologies for it being a laggy mess. But man, it was fun. And God, I'm so impressed that Belegar held to the bitter end. You don't see him often. But man, he's a tanky dwarf. So cool. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. I will see you all next time. And check out that map, Altdorf Adventures. It's on the Steam Workshop. Really cool idea. I really like that map. It's so cool.